Hello everyone and welcome to the NOS Library's workshop videos, Get It Right. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, the Gadigal and Wongal people of the Eora Nation, and to pay my deepest respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Now, writing can be an absolute joy. It's a great way to express yourself and to explore your own imagination. That being said, you can still have bad days. Days where it's difficult to sit down and write, or when you have an idea and you just don't know how to put it onto paper. This is often what we consider writer's block. There can be a variety of reasons for it, but these next few exercises should help you get going again or get started on a project you have in mind. This first exercise is called Seedlings. I call it this because when we have an idea, often they're so big we have no idea where to start or how to begin. Thinking of books, we often think of the final product, the finished novel. But it gets to that point the same way a tree gets so big. It starts very, very small. This exercise is to help you start brainstorming what you want to talk about, how you want to explore it, and what ideas are connected. For the first step of this activity, you need to think about your idea. Now, you might be at the start of a story, or you might be in the middle of one. Whatever it is, think about the whole story or the scene that you're talking about. Think about what genre or mood and atmosphere that you want to explore. Think about the concepts and ideas, any connections that you may want to, the main themes of what you want in this story. Pause the video and take 2 to 3 minutes to write down your seedlings. And these will be your main words from which we will expand our story. Now that we have these key words, our seedlings, we have an anchor that we can always come back to whenever we're not sure if we're still telling the same story, if you've ever feel like you lose your way. The next step of this activity, you're going to explore more related vocabulary connected to these words. If one of your key words was love, you want to explore similar vocabulary or even opposite vocabulary. Things like heartbreak, desire, relationship. Explore as much of these ideas as possible and give yourself as much of the vocabulary to use so that you can talk about it when the time comes. So pause the video for 3 to 5 minutes and explore and expand on your key words. Now that we have an arsenal of words at our disposal, it's time to put them to use. If you've been using this activity to explore a larger idea for a novel, then use this next step to write a synopsis, a couple of sentences to summarize your entire story. If you're writing something entirely new, here's the challenge. Try and write as short a story as possible. Now this can either be microfiction, which is anywhere from 6 to 10 words, or flash fiction, which can be from 20 to about 200 words. Decide what kind of challenge you'd like, supremely short or somewhat short, and use the words that you've already compiled to write a story. Pause the video for 10 to 15 minutes and happy writing to you. This next exercise is say it again, because as writers, that's exactly what we have to do. Writing is nothing but an endless cycle of drafts, redrafts, editing, throwing out, crying, and starting again. But trust me, it's fun. Or it can be. as long as you take a different approach each time. This next exercise is particularly good if you are stuck on a scene and just don't know how to get it out, or it's not coming out correct. Take a sentence or an entire short story or a scene. Write it out once on a piece of paper. Then write it out again and again and again. Each time, I want you to explore a different perspective or change the language to try and play with the atmosphere. We can play with perspective, first, second, and third person. We can play with active and passive by swapping subjects and objects around. We can change the atmosphere by swapping out adjectives or using different verbs. Use this opportunity to explore and express a scene or an idea in as many different ways as possible. Always keep the same scene, but a new perspective and angle each time. So pause the video for a few minutes and try out saying it again. This last exercise is called the throwaway page. And unlike the last two exercises, this is more of a concept or mindset to take away with you. The throwaway page is merely a way for you to get the bad writing out of the way. It's a way to sit down and prepare yourself to write properly. The idea of the page is that you write down whatever's on your mind. Now, you could use it for an exercise to get warmed up. You could use it to draft or plot. You could use it as a diary. You could use it as a stream of conscious. You could just use it to vent. But whatever it is, you're using it and then you're putting it away, either into a drawer that no one sees or into the wastebasket. This is what we need to get used to as writers. We are going to write the same story many, many times over, but people are only going to see the one version, not the 5 others that we've got locked away. This is also a good way to get the bad writing out of the way so you can get to the good stuff. It takes a while to warm up. It's the same way sports people warm up before they play a game. Writing should be the same. How you choose to utilize the throwaway page is completely up to you. You could use it to warm up before you write, doing exercises like we just did, or you can use it for your own mental prosperity through a diary or journal. You could even use it to keep track of a larger project through a creative journal. However you use it, try to incorporate it into a regular writing routine. Before you write anything seriously, you write one page that's for you to throw away or to keep to yourself, to get ready and warmed up to write the good stuff. So happy writing, and I'll catch you next time.